Hi everyone, good evening and welcome back to my channel. This is Alex of Coyote Star Astrology and this is my full moon video for the lunar eclipse in Capricorn on July 4th, 2020 if you're on Pacific Standard Time. And before we begin, what do you guys think of the new intro? I want to give a huge shout out to the incredible artist who created that graphic design and new identity for this channel. I'm going to put her Instagram handle up there on the screen so you guys can go find more of her amazing work. I found her on Instagram, gosh, probably like a year ago now, and I knew immediately that she was the one I wanted to do my branding. She was so patient and professional and awesome, and all of her work is simply out of this world. So I do hope that you will go and find her. And I did keep the same music because honestly it's just too good to change, and that is brought to you by Ascendant. And as always, I will put the link to the track in the intro down in the description box so you can go find them on Spotify. So we've got a full moon in Capricorn eclipse, which makes the ruler of this chart Saturn. Yay! Said no one ever. Yes, so Saturn is the ruler. We look at Saturn, we notice that he has retrograded back into Capricorn. So this is kind of a blast from the past. Little Capricorn train, another giant Capricorn boulder. We know that Capricorn can be very dense. There is an overall seriousness going on with all of this Capricorn and a lot of intensity. Because we have Jupiter and Pluto conjunct again, they're at 23 degrees. They are literally on top of each other. And when Jupiter is touching anything, because Jupiter is this cosmic magnifying glass, we know that anything Jupiter touches gets larger than life. So having Jupiter next to Lord Shiva himself, Pluto, we know that this is an intense energy. Pluto deals with death, rebirth, endings, power dynamics. Pluto deals with karma and karmic retribution. And when you get Jupiter and Pluto together, this is deep, deep, deep transformation. And both of them are retrograde. We know that retrogrades are about going inward. They're about introspection. They're about withdrawing into inner processes and diving into the bottom of our being to uncover lots of new aspects of the self. I keep getting this image of us tunneling into these deep caverns at the core of the earth, these pyrite-filled caves that are glittering and magical, but there is also some not so fun stuff down there to look at. There's a lot of toxicity coming to the surface right now. And a lot of this has to do with the unequal distribution of power, the misuse of power. We're not only seeing this in politics and in the government, but we're also seeing it in the spiritual community. There is this theme right now of certain empires sort of crumbling as those that have misused their power, these kind of false prophet, dark guru archetypes really being exposed, and we're seeing that power structure totally dismantled. And similarly, in our own lives, we can be noticing power dynamics coming to our awareness in our interpersonal relationships and potentially noticing how we wield our own power. So let's look at the rest of the chart and see what else is coming up. So we covered this Capricorn area. Capricorn, of course, deals with our responsibilities and our work, our careers, and our long-term goals, the long-term plan. And then across the chart, we have the Sun conjunct Mercury, both in Cancer. Now, this is the softer, more feminine area of the chart. Cancer deals with our emotions. It deals with things at the home front and within family dynamics. So we can definitely be seeing those themes come up this eclipse. And Mercury is the cosmic messenger. Mercury is a voice. So there can be important conversations around these topics at this time. And it can definitely literally represent the feminine voice rising. We're seeing a lot of that happen right now as the feminine voice rises to speak out against injustices of the power structures. And Cancer just simply deals with how we are feeling about things, how we're really feeling emotionally. And with that Cancer area of the chart in opposition to all of that Capricorn, this can be bringing to our awareness how we're feeling about our plans in general on a deep emotional level. And there is a little bit of a frustration here because we have this square to Mars happening. Mars is over there at 4 degrees Aries. Mars actually likes to be in Aries. Mars rules Aries. It's masculine energy. It's our drive. And when it's in Aries, it really wants to go after its desires. It wants to self-actualize, and it doesn't want to be delayed or slowed down in any way. But it looks like it kind of is being delayed or slowed down because it's being squared. It's being cornered by the sun and the moon. And Mars doesn't like to be cornered. It wants to be free. It wants to be sovereign. And Mars is conjunct Chiron, a wound. And because Mars deals with the masculine primal energy when it's conjunct Chiron, this can be looking at the wounded masculine in the collective. Again, because we have Sun conjunct Mercury over there, this can be the feminine voice speaking out against the toxic masculine. And especially because Mercury is squaring Mars, and Mercury is not only retrograde, but in the emotional sign of Cancer, there can be uneven bursts of emotional energy. We know that Aries is not known for having an even temper. And there is an interesting conversation happening between all of these archetypes. We notice that there is this triangle. On one side, we have Capricorn. On the other, we have Cancer and Aries down with Mars, but we have this empty space across the chart. We have a table with 3 legs, but our table is a bit wobbly because we're missing that 4th leg. And this is the cardinal cross, Capricorn, Aries, Cancer. So what's the 4th leg? The 4th leg of the cardinal cross is Libra, which deals with balance. Libra is the scales. Libra is about justice, restoring harmony. It's about being diplomatic, hearing 2 sides of a story, or noticing where we are out of balance as well. Libra reminds us that there is a divine cosmic order in the universe, and nature does like to restore balance. So once again, if someone is abusing their power, if they're only serving themselves and not the whole, eventually that kingdom will crumble. Eventually that toxicity will be brought to light, and if there are rotten roots, certain branches will begin to wither and die, and that balance will be restored. So this eclipse is kind of like a moment of judgment and noticing imbalances within relationships, within family dynamics, imbalances at home, imbalances with our work environment, and potentially within ourselves, Aries. This is the cardinal cross. And because Chiron is involved, although we may not be looking or feeling or acting like our highest self, there is this shamanic element. We know that shamanic processes are not always super attractive, but there is this potential for healing, particularly within conversation, because we have Mercury there supporting in the chart, but also just this massive time of exposure. And we can harness this shamanic healing potential by, again, not only looking for the medicine of Libra, which is about balance, meeting others halfway when we can, but also stepping in as willing participants in our own healing, being willing to look at our identity fractures, being willing to look at our blind spots, and all of the shadow frequencies that Jupiter and Pluto might be bringing up from the depths over there in Capricorn. And also having a willingness to be patient. I mean, in my readings, people keep asking me when, when certain things are going to be moving forward, because a lot of us are feeling a bit of a delay happening. And with regards to certain projects and wanting to make huge moves, remembering that we are in a period of extreme retrograde right now. We've got Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, Mercury, all retrograde. And again, retrogrades are a drawing back of energy. It's not full throttle, full force ahead. And this brings up the topic of honoring the natural cycles of nature, aligning with nature and recognizing that there are times to plant seeds, there are times to wait, and there are times to harvest. And we are in a retrograde right now. It's not harvest time. It just isn't. That will be more so when these three major planets, Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, go direct, which will start in mid-September. We have Jupiter go direct on September 12th, Saturn go direct on September 28th, and Pluto shortly thereafter on October 4th. And trust me, things are going to get very action-packed around that time. But for now, we are in this seed planting phase of a retrograde, which is fertile ground to be planning, really considering the best strategies for moving forward, looking at the long term, and taking our responsibility in this collective purging that's happening, this sort of like spiritual pruning, as things just keep coming up. Micro, macro. There's something new every day. And it's deep stuff. It's a deep dive. And definitely a cleansing of certain relationships and important reflections on power, who we respect and consider as leaders, and potentially redefining boundaries as it is gradually exposed that there are definitely some leaders in power that do not deserve to be. And a lot of messages coming through, especially from the feminine, about this issue and how it's finally really becoming time to walk the talk and address this tender area of the human psyche that really does need healing. So, yeah, big energies this week, guys. Let's do our best to show up as our highest self, do the best we can. Really nice time to do a nice cleansing of the home environment. I've been really feeling that with the sun in Cancer. And particularly because a lot of us sort of have to be home. And while Jupiter and Pluto are over there doing their big purge, I've been kind of doing this deep cleaning at home, like really pulling things away from the wall, sweeping behind things, sweeping under the bed, getting rid getting rid of things, trying to just cleanse the space and get into a place where I can think clearly and a space that's really productive. Some of you may have felt called to do that since the sun went into Cancer. I'm sending you guys lots of love in these kind of dense Capricorn energies. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm going to put my Instagram handle up there on the screen. I do a lot of fun astrology stuff in my Instagram stories. You can check me out on there. And if you guys are interested in reaching out to me for a reading, I am booking for those at the moment. I'll put my website up there on the screen as well. You can reach out to me there. And if you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and a share. I really appreciate it. All right, you guys, talk soon. Bye for now.